throw one each. Yeah.
One up.
Well, I guess this way. And then...
So talking about the frost building up, we saw the game earlier today in the semi-final, Korea, Sweden. By the second half, especially the last couple of ends, that frost began to creep in a little too much. You know, the ice has been really good all week. It's just today it's been so warm outside, about 90 degrees, that's about 32 degrees Celsius. So that's just bringing up the humidity. There's no dehumidification system in this building. You know, we're in Nevada in the desert.
Right, it's the desert.
It's not really needed, except for, you know, on a day like today. So what they've chosen to do here, Dave Staviteg talking to him before the game, they said we're going to scrape the ice. We're going to basically prepare the ice from scratch. So you're scraping the pebble off it, taking the frost with it. You put the pebble back on, and then now the last part they're doing is clipping it, just shaving that very top of the pebble to even everything out. That's going to make it nice and slick.
And your chief ice technician is Dave Staviteg, and his assistant is Dave Merklinger. These are two of the best ice technicians in the world, and they are doing everything they can to give these players the best surface possible.
Yeah, they're whatever you get here today is the best ice you'll get in these conditions. I believe also they've been pebbling with a little bit colder water as well. It stands a little higher above the frost, doesn't get eaten up as much as a hot wire. You'll see the run the mops as well after they clip here. And I also believe they'll be running the stones up and down. That's just to break down the pebble.
Yeah, and it's to give them as even a surface as possible.
Just also drying up the hacks from the pebble as well.
And they're drying up that right hack for Oscar Eriksson tomorrow, as he's the only lefty in the field for Team Sweden. But you've got to really appreciate the efforts they're going through in these extreme circumstances.
Yeah, the ice making crew has done such a good job, and they work so hard through an event like this. And for them to go out there, prep the ice all over again, great job. I think the ice did a really good job in the first 5 ends, though. Didn't see too much of that frost creeping in. So to have the ice from the very start again should last a good 5 ends. That's what Dave Staviteg was saying. We'll hope for five good ends. We'll redo the ice, hope for another 5. But it could be a factor in the last end, and if we get an extra, we might see a bit of frost building up, but should be okay. Now, of course, the ice will be quite new. The teams always have that pre-game practice. They will get to throw 1 stone each at the start of the 6th end. They'll take the stones back, and then they'll start the game, just so they have a bit of a sense of what they're looking at for the ice.
Yeah, and just looking at that score line, it's a 4-4 tie. This is an awesome game. All kinds of shots are being made. So these athletes having a pretty unique set of circumstances here, with an ice crew absolutely racing around this rink to prep the surface. And some last words of advice from their coaches.
That is one quick turnaround, I have to say. It's like a pit stop in Formula 1.
Yeah, that's pretty great. So now we've got this really unique situation. The leads are going to be allowed to throw 1 stone each to test this ice.
So Cammie's gonna throw on the intern.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen this before personally.
Yeah, I have. It is not in my memory. And unique situations call for unique solves, and you really do have to appreciate how hard they are working.
Hey, buddy. What are you doing?
Yeah, so Hammy McMillan knows he'll be throwing a corner guard. That's, I guess they're revealing their tactics here.
Yeah, and just kind of testing the speed of the ice.
Sorry.
Jeff Walker already out the hack, actually. Don't want to waste too much time. 13-3. That should be beyond the tee line if it's just as quick as it was in the first 5 ends, and it is. So
Yeah, and Canada's got their test stone in motion already. And you know, it's interesting, Canada going so quickly. Now that was a longer break than they've been used to. And you wonder if the expectations of a veteran team might not be impacted a little bit by this unique situation. We're talking about never having seen this before.
Oh.
Oh, each player is going to get to throw 1 stone.
I did misunderstand. Thought just the leads were going to throw 1 each. So I guess all players on the sheet today will get to throw 1. That makes sense as well. Just for everyone to get a nice feel. Of course, before the game, you get 9 minutes per team. So to just get 1 stone each, that should mean we'll won't have too much of a sloppy end in the 6th, and the ice looking pretty keen as well.
It just doesn't make like we're on a brand new sheet of ice here. For all of us to not be able to throw 1 rock makes no sense. I don't think there's any harm if we all do the same. Oh, I agree. I totally agree. This is not fair at all. We don't have to do it. The sheet of ice was fine before we did this, and not letting us throw each one is not fair at all. We'd be done by now. We could be done now. Or do they get to throw 2 more?
Okay, so I think the decision was, in fact, 1 stone each, but
what you guys
the players have made the wrong call on it.
Now.
Yeah, but we're happy for this. We could do it right now.
I know. You're wasting time
Could have been done by now.
Go ahead.
Let's go.
Yeah. Could have done by now. Go ahead.
So players requiring that everyone gets to play 1 stone. The umpire says, well, okay, you're the star of the show.
Yeah, you go.
Why not accommodate the players here and let them have what they want?
50, right on
Yeah,
the
and this situation so unique. And you know, again, all credit to everyone out there, everyone doing what they can to make the most of these circumstances.
Yeah, and you see the players are pretty quick about it too. Nichols just kicking out right after Grant Hardy here, so they're not spending lots of time on it either.
Yeah.
Because we want to try a couple of different lines just to see if the curl is still the same and the speed's still the same.
Yeah, and one of the most veteran curlers in the building, the high performance director for Team Canada, Rick Lang. I wonder if he's seen this before. I'm going to guess not.
I've heard mentions where there has been frost issues and they've been talking about scraping the ice at halftime, but I haven't seen it happen. Did have an incident though when Gusha won his first Brier at home in St. John's, where the plant
Power went out.
Power went out because of the storm.
Giant storm.
Yes, and I was sitting in a restaurant outside the building at the time. They wouldn't let it. There was no hot food because the ovens weren't working. It was devastation.
Electric ovens. Yeah.
And of course the TV wasn't working either, so we had to run into the arena to watch the game.
Yeah.
You survived that those harrowing circumstances, and.
But yeah, at that point they had to redo the ice just because the ice got so warm when the plant and the power went out.
So actually, Team Canada is well suited to handle the challenges of a mid-game break and ice reprep.
He told me you better be bloody quick.
Yeah. Well, if he stayed out of the way, we would have been done.
And the Scottish fans loud and proud to open this second half of play. It's a pretty extraordinary game.
Looked okay to me.